opening statement from Coach. Then we'll take questions in the room.
So first of all, like always, I want to thank you guys for coming out and covering Penn State football. I also want to thank the fans that showed up and supported us. Big game, big win. So the fans that came back into town, the students that came back into town over Thanksgiving break to support us, we really appreciate that. Overall, obviously, the game did not start the way we'd like it to start. Very, very sloppy on offense and defense. But after that, from that point on, very pleased. You know, we won the takeaway battle, 3 turnovers. And to be honest with you, really 5 turnovers because we had 2 fourth down stops as well. I kind of look at them as turnovers as well. Explosive play battle, we won that. The 3rd down battle, we won that. The sack battle, we won that. The field position battle, we won that. The penalty battle, we did not. Got to get those things cleaned up. And then the middle 8, we won that. So, you know, talk about statistics that we talk about being important and impactful in college football. We did a great job with those things. But overall, we found a way to get another win. If you study college football, not just Penn State, if you study college football, it's hard to win consistently. And the fact that our guys were able to find a way to win 11 times this season during the regular season, I'm proud of them. And you know, I told them in the locker room, good news and bad news. Good news, bad news is that we were supposed to have practice off tomorrow. They were supposed to have the day off. We do not have the day off anymore. We'll be back to work tomorrow morning. Enjoy this for a couple hours and get to work. So open up the questions.
We'll go Mark and then Rich.
James, when you heard the results of the Ohio State game, does that change anything at all about your preparation or the way you approached the game, or is it same old, same old?
No, we had to find a way to beat Maryland, and we had to find a way to get better. And besides the opening drives, I thought we did that today. So, you know, we played a ton of guys, which I think is really valuable. Our 3s and 4s against their 1s, they kept their 1s in the entire game, and our 3s and 4s were able to get in there and get really good work, which will be important for their development. Probably not as clean as we'd like it to be, but that was really good work.
Rich and then Johnny.
James, when did you find out about the result of the Michigan-Ohio State game, and did you say anything to the team before they took the field?
No, I didn't. We knew, but I didn't say anything to the team. Actually, I did the opposite. I said Maryland, 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 because I think a lot of people were aware of it, and I was trying to keep us focused. Maybe that's why the game started out the way the game started, but you got to control the things that you can control, and the things outside of Beaver Stadium are not in our control. So we needed to win and play well. A lot of eyes watching these games, looking at the statistics. All those things are important. We're fighting to keep this family together as long as we possibly can. Wins do that. Statistics do that. How it looks, all those things matter. So, you know, we were going to play for 4 quarters and fight till the end, and do everything we had to do to put ourselves in the best position to continue the season as long as possible, and also be seeded as high as possible.
Johnny, then Pickle.
James, you're right. Can you explain the emotions of the alma mater after the game, the scene after the game? You know, I saw you interact with some seniors. You know, with the Big Ten title game upcoming, just everything that went into that.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it was a win on senior day, which is always emotional for me. K-Tron, he's the one guy, like he won't kind of let me slide. You know, I got emotional at breakfast this morning talking to the guys, and K-Tron doesn't like that a whole lot. He gives me a hard time anytime I get emotional. But senior day is an emotional day for me. You know, you're with these guys, you know, with 4 years with COVID, some guys 5 years, 6 years, good and bad. I'm a coach that I love them hard, but I also coach them hard, and I hold them accountable. And it's not always puppies and rainbows. So, you know, to think about some of the journeys I've been on with these guys, it's a lot. So I'm proud of them, but it's an emotional day in general. And then on top of that, you know, an opportunity to go to Indianapolis and play the Big Ten championship game, pretty cool. So, you know, I'd be emotional either way, but that's kind of like a little bit of a cherry on top, you know.
Pickle, then Andrew.
Coach, right in front of you. Tyser Denmark caught a touchdown there at the end of the game. What has his progress been like this season? What do you think that play specifically can do for him moving into the postseason?
Yeah, he's a talented guy. He's a talented guy. He's a confident guy, and he's a tough guy, which you know, we put a premium on toughness in our program. And that guy has kind of all those qualities. He continues to get better. You know, we're going to need him more and more here in the off season. Excuse me, in the postseason. Excuse me. But I'm proud of him. He can be a punt returner for us. He can be a slot receiver. I think he can also play Z. But he's a young, talented player that we're excited about his future. So pretty cool for him to get that touchdown. And good for the 3s and 4s again against their 1s to you know, have some success.
Andrew, then Jared.
Coach, back here on the camera.
Back.
Hey, you talk about growth a lot, right, and growing each week. What does it say to you at the beginning of the season? People were more critical about the defense, but at the end of the season here, the defense really flipped the page and really carried you guys late in the year. What does that say about their growth from week 1 to
Who's people?
a lot of us sitting here in the room?
Because I was about to say, I was going to give you guys a soundbite. I was going to say, I could give up, but like, I'm not.
You can still do that.
I'd love to do that. God, I'd love to do that one day. You know, again, we focus on the things that we can control in Beaver Stadium and the Lash building. And if you're going to ride the wave of emotion and passion of fans and sometimes media, you'll drive yourself crazy. So I've been doing this long enough to not do that. Understand that you guys got a job to do, and again, focus on the things that we can control. I've talked about it before. We got a history here on the defensive side of the ball. We've had it for a long time, way before my time. Every defensive coordinator I've had since I've been here is finished in the top 10. Their defenses pretty consistently in the top 10, a lot in the top 5. That's a credit to those men and their leadership. It's also a credit to how we operate and how we do things. I think it's telling about the culture of the program. So, you know, we're playing really well on offense, defense, and special teams. That we got to get our field goal protection cleaned up. Had some moving parts in there, some new guys with some injuries, and that wasn't good enough again today. But overall, pretty darn good. I think Barker's kind of a quiet story. No one wants to talk about the field goal kicker until he misses something, and he's been really good for us since taking over that spot.
Jared, then Tyler.
Hey, Coach Franklin, to your left.
Hey, Jared.
I know you might end up sounding like a broken record with this question again, but I think his play warrants that. Tyler Warren breaking another record. You might have the most broken records maybe ever here. Can you just talk about his play again and how impressive he was for another week?
Yeah, he's a beast. And I think the point is that everybody goes into it saying you got to stop Tyler Warren. Everybody's defensive game plan is we can't allow 44 to impact the game. Just like for us, it was Ty Felton. We went into this saying Ty Felton's going to make some plays. He's a really good player, but we got to limit his impact. Everybody said that every single week with Tyler Warren. No one's done it. They ought to bring the Mackey Award tonight, put it on a private jet, fly it to Tyler Warren, give it to him on Sunday, and then he should get an invitation to New York. He's done it week in and week out. He's a big-time player, and he's doing it when all eyes are on him, and he's the focus of the game plan to stop him. So he's a special guy. His humility is impressive. Yeah, you guys ask him questions. Every question he gets, it's an opportunity for him to turn the attention to his teammates. He's a stud. He's a stud. I'm going to try to convince his parents. I'm going to send them to one of them romantic vacations up in the Poconos and try to get the parents to have more. I don't know if that'll happen.
Last two, Tyler, then Neil.
Thanks, James. I'll try to follow that one up. When you look at this team coming off the loss earlier this month, 4 games ahead, the way you finished this month in November in those matchups in Big Ten play, additionally kind of juggling some of those injury issues, what did you learn about this particular program, this squad right now, over the course of this month to earn yourselves opportunities in December?
Yeah, what I don't think a lot of people understand, except for people that really study the game, like you guys and NFL people and college coaches, it's hard. You know, especially with the expansion of these conferences. This is the most competitive Big Ten there's ever been. And to have your team ready to play week in and week out, it is very, very difficult to do, and it doesn't happen very often. And you look around college football, you watch the highlights, it's not happening. So this team finding a ton of different ways to win, blowouts, comebacks, overcoming adversity, winning because of defense, winning because of offense, winning because of special teams. You know, when you play as many games as we do now in college football and the type of opponents that we play, you're going to have to find different ways to get it done. It may not always be pretty, but I also think that's the beauty in it, right? So I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of everybody in that locker room because everybody played a role in it. I'm so appreciative of the managers and how they run our practice every single day. The equipment people, the student managers and student trainers, they're phenomenal. The D squad has been great all year long. The grounds people that, we got new sod in the stadium. Our grass was phenomenal for this time of year in this part of the country. All this stuff matters, and all this stuff adds up. Pat Kraft and his leadership willing to fight for our program, which that hasn't happened in the past. Neely Bendapudi has been phenomenal. Michael Wade Smith, Matt Schuyler, and now Kleppinger. Everybody deserves credit because you don't win 11 games in this type of conference, without everybody playing a role. Even you guys, all the positive articles you guys write, it's all impactful. It all adds up, and we appreciate it. So, thank you.
Last question to Neil.
Yeah, good timing. James. It didn't look like it was the smoothest post-game handshake. Is that the statistics and their ones still in there, or can you explain that last touchdown?
Yeah, I get it, right? At the end of the game, we throw a touchdown. I get it. But a couple things I will say. My job is to put the 3s and 4s in the game. But when the 3s and 4s get to go in the game, they get to play football. Those guys deserve to play football. Your 1s are in the game. You're trying to score. We're trying to score. On top of that, you're playing cover 0. If you don't want, play cover 2. So I'm good with it. And on top of that, there's also a change in college football. We are trying to play as long as we can, make the playoffs, and be seeded as high as possible. And scoring as many points and a point differential matters. All that matters. And if you don't get that, it's really not my problem. So, W, 1-0, I'm good with it. Anybody that's not, that's their problem.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.